Has the dramatic breakup of Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise left you wondering what happened?
Everything about them, their meeting, their connection, and their public demonstrations of affection made them appear like the ideal pair. Something lot more intricate, though, was happening behind the scenes.
At 45,
Katie Holmes has spoken up about the true reasons for their breakup and the significant part that Scientology played in it. One of the most peculiar and interesting love stories in recent Hollywood history is the one involving Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise. Not only were they very different in age, but they were also very different in their roles within the entertainment world, which created a dramatic contrast when they were married. His fame preceded him around the world, and Tom Cruise had been a household name for quite some time. Cruise has been one of Hollywood and #039's most in-demand leading men since making his television debut in the 1980s, thanks to his charismatic personality and stunning good looks. His uniqueness, nevertheless, lay in more than meets the eye. Throughout his extensive filmography, Cruise and #039's extraordinary talent was on full display. Even before his big screen debut in Endless Love, Cruise was causing a stir with supporting parts in films like Taps and The Outsiders.
He shot to fame after landing the lead part in the blockbuster film Risky Business.
But it was his legendary turn in the Top Gun films that established him as a major player in Hollywood. In the #039's, Cruise took on a plethora of demanding roles, further demonstrating his flexibility as an actor. His versatility was on full display in films like Jerry Maguire, Mission Impossible, Fallout, A Few Good Men, Interview with the Vampire, and Eyes Wide Shut, which further cemented his status as one of Hollywood and #039's most bankable stars. Tom Cruise was undeniably a towering star in Hollywood when he crossed paths with Katie Holmes. Katie Holmes, on the other hand, was only starting her career in show business when she met Cruise. She broke into the acting industry with her appearance in The Ice Storm when she was just 18 years old, and her rise to fame began soon after. On the other hand, her breakout role and the reason why people all over the globe fell in love with her was her depiction of Joey Potter on the adolescent drama Dawson and #039's Creek. Instantly becoming America and #039's sweetheart, Holmes captivated audiences with her charming and innocent depiction of a girl next door who has a crush. Katie was clearly on the rise in Hollywood, even though her later film performances in films like Go and Disturbing Behavior didn't, and #039 received the same amount of notice. Even though she was on the rise, she couldn't, and #039 compare to Tom Cruise in terms of fame or impact.
There was a glaring difference, and Katie knew it.
Writer Deb Baer gushed over Holmes and #039's friendliness, sophistication, and charisma in an interview she gave to 17 magazine in July 2004. Katie, who is widely known as Hollywood and #039's new sweetheart, was truthful about her life and work during the conversation.
She went so far as to announce her engagement and impending marriage to actor Chris Klein.
During this interview, Katie was asked a topic that would later have a profound impact on her life.
Katie enthusiastically answered yes when asked if she was the sort of girl who had always imagined her wedding day.
She verified that she did, in fact, dream about such things, and then revealed, with a sudden flash of insight, that she had long held the belief that she would wed Tom Cruise. At the time, Katie had no idea that her statements would turn out to be so prophetic. Even if her casual remark about marrying Tom Cruise would come true, the path leading up to it and the aftermath would be anything but idyllic. Katie Holmes spoke with Deb Baer shortly after breaking off her engagement to Chris Klein. Compared to their last meeting, the vibe was completely different. The carefree and receptive Katie had vanished. A more reclusive and reserved version of the actress took her place. Katie unwillingly revealed that Chris had, and #039 been encouraging enough of her professional goals when asked about their recent breakup. But what really intrigued Deb was an overheard phone conversation that occurred during the interview. Katie stepped away to answer the phone, and Deb overheard her saying, end quote, and #039, I love you, and #039, to the person on the other end of the line, end quote. When questioned, Katie immediately explained it away as a chat with her mom, even though Deb hadn't, and #039 specifically asked. Just 1 month after that, Katie and #039's peculiar conduct had its cause. First seen together in public on April 27, Katie and Tom Cruise were in Rome for Tom and #039's Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony. Their appearance on the red carpet caused a stir in the entertainment world and beyond.
This surprising couple shocked everyone.
It seems nearly unthinkable that Katie and #039's childhood dream of marrying Tom Cruise could be coming true, especially considering the enormous age difference between them.
Much conjecture ensued.
Given that both celebrities had big film releases coming up, many wondered if this was all just a publicity trick. Katie had a part in Batman Begins, while Tom was supposed to star in War of the Worlds. Their now famous appearance on Oprah Winfrey and #039's show swiftly put an end to any skepticism over the sincerity of their relationship. A series of passionate professions of love ensued from what was supposed to be an interview promoting War of the Worlds.
Tom quickly dropped any pretense of talking about his picture, wholly absorbed in communicating his sentiments for Katie.
In an over-the-top gesture of adoration that would go down in history as a cultural phenomenon, Tom leaped onto Oprah and #039's couch. When Oprah mentioned that Tom had disappeared, she, too, was surprised. It seemed as if the couple were determined to show the world how serious their love was. At every chance, but especially on red carpets, they would publicly demonstrate their adoration for one another. They allegedly went to extreme lengths, like kissing multiple times, to make sure the photographers got the right shot. Like the famous photo of a sailor kissing a nurse at the end of World War II, one unforgettable image showed Tom dipping Katie for a passionate kiss. The abrupt change in Tom and #039's conduct stood out. He had always been one to keep his private life under wraps, but now he was ready to let the world know how much he loved Katie. While standing next to her, he frequently brought attention to his wide smile, describing her as an exceptional woman in interviews. This romance seemed like a lifelong goal come true for Katie. She had shown interest in collaborating with prominent filmmakers like Tom and #039's buddy Steven Spielberg and Martin Scorsese in earlier interviews. One of Tom and #039's ex-girlfriends, Penelope Cruz, was another person she had spoken highly of. Katie has previously stated her desire to be a famous actress or singer without apologizing for her aspirations. Even though they had only been dating for 2 months, Katie leapt at the chance to become Tom Cruise and #039's wife. It was the kind of extravagant and passionate proposal you and #039 expect from a Hollywood power couple. After a romantic candlelit supper at Le Jules Verne, Tom decided to pop the question at the peak of the Eiffel Tower. Katie, who was wearing a huge diamond ring, was by his side when he made the engagement announcement during a press appearance in Paris. Since he had engaged a gorgeous woman, Tom characterized the day as magnificent.
Concerning his site selection, Tom made reference to the romanticism of Paris and the Eiffel Tower.
It appeared like the couple and #039's happiness knew no limits. At the War of the Worlds news conference held at Le Tremblay, which is located at the Gare Lyon train station, Tom couldn't and #039 contain his excitement over his engagement to Katie. When People magazine inquired about their intentions on having a family, Tom and Katie both grinned knowingly. It took only a few months for the rationale behind their evasive behavior to become apparent. Tom and Katie revealed their pregnancy in October 2005, just 3 months after becoming engaged. Their publicist, Leon DeVette, told People magazine the happy couple and #039's story in an exclusive interview.
Their already news-grabbing romance took on an additional dimension with this news.
Their daughter Suri was born in April of 2006, and Tom Cruise was already a doting father. Tom opened up about his feelings regarding the birth of his daughter in a conversation with ABC News.
He said it was the realization of all their dreams for him and Katie.
To him, it had a profound, mystical quality. An indescribable, an experience that he couldn't and #039 stopped thinking about due to its profound impact. While their marriage was still young and their baby was being born, Tom and Katie encountered a new obstacle, the Scientology Church. Not only was Katie married to one of the world and #039's most renowned men, but she had also won an unprecedented career as an actress. Still, things were more complicated than they seemed. The fact that Tom was associated with Scientology made it more complicated. His life and #039's contentious aspects. After Tom and #039's splits with Nicole Kidman and Penelope Cruz, the Church of Scientology allegedly started searching for a suitable wife for him, according to accessible evidence. Sofia Vergara and Scarlett Johansson, two famous actresses, allegedly turned down the offer because of their reservations about Scientology. It was difficult for the group to locate someone who could embrace Tom and #039's religious views while also being able to deal with the magnitude of being with Tom as a celebrity. It was supposedly decided that Tom would be dating Nazanin Boniati, a successful Scientologist, in late 2004. But it seems like their romance didn't and #039 last more than a few months. Following this, the church persisted in their quest and eventually located Katie Holmes. The attention of church authorities was piqued after Katie had spoken highly of Tom in an interview with 17 magazine. After that, Katie and Tom started dating. Katie opened out about her early crush on Tom in an interview with New York Times Style magazine, saying that she had liked him for a long time.
Allegedly, the church kept tabs on Katie when they were dating.
Supposedly acted as Katie and #039's chaperone, going on excursions with her and Tom and being by her side during interviews.
There were concerns because Jessica tried to dominate the story by interjecting herself throughout interviews.
When questioned about the impact of Scientology on her relationship with Tom, Jessica would swiftly shift the conversation and #039's focus. Even though Jessica and Katie had just met a few weeks prior, she once answered a journalist and #039's question regarding her job by saying she was Katie and #039's best friend. Not long after Katie and Tom started dating, Katie and #039's involvement with Scientology intensified. Katie made her conversion public just days after an interview in which she denied becoming a Scientologist. She was quite outspoken about Scientology, gushing about how exciting it was and how she loved being a part of both Scientology and her Catholic faith. By characterizing Tom as caring and compassionate, Katie put to rest speculations that either Tom or Jessica had coerced her into joining. Tom and Katie and #039's romance blossomed quickly, culminating in an extravagant wedding in a medieval Italian castle on November 18, 2006. Fireworks and an A-list guest list included Jennifer Lopez, Will Smith, and Jim Carrey made the party look like something out of a fairy tale. The couple also made a solemn commitment to never let their anger or disagreements get the best of them, as is customary at Scientology weddings. A close friend of Tom and #039's and the head of Scientology, a man named David Miskovich, was his best man. It appeared like the couple and #039's lives were going swimmingly after the big wedding. However, in reality, things were far from perfect behind the scenes. Word got out in 2010 that things were getting tense in the marriage. Regardless, Katie addressed the claims head-on by telling Marie Claire that she counted herself lucky to be Tom and #039's wife. Truthfully, though, their relationship was becoming more and more problematic, and their claims failed to portray that. Before Suri was even born, tensions were already rising when Tom admitted he and #039 bought a sonogram equipment to keep an eye on Katie while she was pregnant. Many people were curious about the possible connection to Scientology because of this unique move.
Home sonograms were uncommon back then.
Furthermore, doctors cautioned that this method might subject the unborn child to dangerously loud noises. The FDA even intervened, telling Tom that it was illegal to use a sonogram in private. Following the revelation of unsettling episodes involving Tom and #039's family by actress Leah Remini, a former Scientologist, the couple and #039's links to Scientology were further investigated. According to Remini and #039's memoir, she found 3 women, one of whom was Tom and #039's sister, standing over infant Suri as she lay on the floor in a restroom. According to Remini, the women were yelling at the infant as if she were an adult, which made her both perplexed and worried. Additionally, an unusual trend surfaced in Tom and #039's wedlock. Katie Holmes, Nicole Kidman, and Mimi Rogers were all 33 years old when he filed for a dissolution of his marriage. Some others thought this had anything to do with the teachings of Scientology, pointing out that L. Ron Hubbard was the religion and #039's founder. Along the 33rd parallel in Arizona, Ron Hubbard set up the church and #039's headquarters. Rumors of Katie and #039's upcoming divorce started circulating in 2012, as she was getting close to her 33rd birthday. In the days leading up to the breakup, Katie and #039's hidden preparations, including the use of a burner phone to contact with her lawyers and the employment of firms in various states, were exposed. To further safeguard her and her daughter, a prenuptial agreement was drafted with the assistance of her father, a lawyer. Though few outside the couple and #039's inner circle were astonished by the 2012 divorce filing, word quickly spread. The divorce was quick because of the prenuptial agreement. The parties were able to reach a settlement in 11 days. Child support payments for Suri were allegedly received by Katie, though the details of the agreement were not completely revealed. Had made other arrangements to ensure her daughter and #039's health and safety. Suri and #039's welfare was Katie and #039's first priority, according to a statement released by her counsel. Tom requested privacy to focus on his children and expressed his sorrow about the divorce in his personal statement. The pair continued on with their life after their high-profile marriage, which had captivated the globe, despite the difficulties they encountered. Did this, however, prevent Katie from finding love at a later date? Definitely not. Katie Holmes and Jamie Foxx announced their romance in 2017 after years of keeping a low profile, while rumors suggested they had been together for much longer. Their decision to go public comes after allegedly dating for 4 years, according to some sources. The 5-year anniversary of Katie and #039's much publicized divorce from Tom Cruise fell on this exact date, making it a very significant event. They did not wait until then by accident. The divorce settlement between Katie and Tom reportedly had a provision that forbade her from publicly discussing the marriage or being photographed with a love partner for a period of 5 years. She wanted this condition to ensure that no one would find out about her personal life. According to our insider, Katie was free to date as long as she kept her relationships under wraps and refused to let her new partner see their daughter, Suri. It was said that Katie was entitled to financial support because she followed these guidelines. Getting a settlement of $3.8 million for herself and $3.6 million for child support. For a long time, no one noticed that Katie was seeing Jamie Foxx. The couple went to tremendous measures to keep the public from speculating about their relationship, despite multiple sightings of them together. In the past, for their covert meeting, Katie went so far as to wear a wig and hat to the hotel. Even as proof of their romantic involvement accumulated, Jamie steadfastly denied it, showing his support for her resolve to keep their love a secret. As rumors of their romance intensified in 2015, it came to light that Katie had attended Jamie and #039's surprise birthday party in New York, which nearly exposed their connection. Jamie maintained, however, that all they were was friends. Lack of privacy was and #039 an eternal problem for the pair. As time went on, witnesses saw Katie and Jamie holding hands in public, validating long-held suspicions. Their chemistry was obvious, even if they tried to hide their affection. But things had turned out quite differently for Katie and Tom. After their divorce, they hardly spoke to one another. After her split, she has. Regarding her romance with Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes has generally stayed mum. She has been silent on the subject of their breakup, and the couple has been noticeably absent from public life ever since. Katie has hinted that she has grown as a person since their marriage ended. In an interview, she discussed how she was more at ease expressing herself when she entered her 40s. When she spoke about how important it is to trust one and #039's own judgment and stop relying on others, many thought she was implying something about her life with Tom. Katie and her daughter Suri moved to New York City following Katie and #039's divorce. Looking back, Katie did acknowledge that the relocation was challenging. She was a single parent dealing with the added pressure of public criticism for her child and #039's upbringing. Strangers and #039 generosity brought her solace despite the hardships. In her memory, there was the time Suri slept off in a taxi after a particularly trying day. Despite her feelings of being overwhelmed, the cab driver helped her carry the sleeping infant into their home, demonstrating that there were still nice people in the world. The mystery surrounding Tom Cruise and #039's disappearance from Suri and #039's life has swirled around and around. There has and #039 been a photo of the once close father and daughter in over a decade. Tom has allegedly failed to attend Surrey and #039's high school graduation and college registration, according to sources familiar with the matter. In a case involving libel filed in 2013, Tom said that Surrey and her mom are no longer Scientologists, although he refrained from saying that this was the reason they were estranged. The belief in cutting links with individuals who quit the faith, according to some, is the root cause of Tom and #039's alienation from Surrey. Tom has allegedly refused to be involved in Surrey and #039's life, despite the fact that he has paid for her education and other costs. Conversely, Katie has been a reliable and caring presence. Despite Surrey and #039's impending college, she maintains a strong bond with her mother. Surrey is considering remaining in New York to follow her dream of becoming a fashion designer. Katie feels pleased and homesick for the strong relationship they had as children, and she has conflicting feelings about her daughter and #039's increasing independence. Katie has been defined by her tenacity and dedication to her daughter and #039's upbringing since her divorce, even though much of the Cruz home story is still unknown. At the same time, there appears to be no way for Tom and his daughter to mend their broken connection. If you have reached this point, please share your thoughts about Tom and #039's actions by clicking the comment button. To see more videos like this, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.